If you're ready for 30 more epic gaming clips, hit the like button and get your snacks ready. Nick was pursuing a suspect who was driving a stolen sports car. After a few miles, he called for backup. The backup officer successfully pit maneuvered and stopped the suspect. Jamar Richardson wrecked his luxury SUV. The accident happened when he was driving at night. He went too fast into a sharp curve before crashing into a barrier and rolling over. His repair bill was $5,000 US. Taylor was driving his sports car at high speed in the desert. He was driving at over 125 miles per hour when he noticed a curve ahead. He failed to brake and flew off the road, crashing and rolling over. His car was totaled and his joyride was over. Matthew was driving a Tesla Model 3 when the driver of a green SUV began brake checking him. Eventually, the SUV driver braked too hard and Matthew rear-ended the SUV. The other driver then lost control. The green SUV was totaled and the Tesla needed a new front bumper cover, which cost $1,500 US. Nota was driving a little over the speed limit on Highway 110 near Belasco City. He thought his eyes were playing tricks on him when he saw some weird lights in the road. Suddenly, he realized he was seeing road construction. He made an evasive maneuver, lost control, and crashed into some barriers. CJ was parking on Main Street in downtown Italy. He noticed a beautiful Mitsubishi turning around at an intersection. Suddenly, a BMW approached at high speed and T-boned the Mitsubishi, causing it to explode. An investigation uncovered that the BMW driver was a fleeing criminal. He was arrested and charged with multiple felonies. CJ also sent us footage from an Italian highway. A BMW driver overtook traffic using the emergency lane, lost control, and crashed into a car. CJ hit his brakes, but he spun out and crashed before getting hit by another vehicle. Nevo was driving in downtown San Francisco when an oncoming driver lost control and crashed into him. Lucas was driving at high speed when his tires started spinning and he lost all control. Unfortunately, he ended up crashing into an oncoming vehicle. Both cars were totaled. Sadly, we don't know anything about the condition of the drivers. Tobias was off-roading in his supercar, which doesn't sound like a good idea, does it? Suddenly, his car did a front flip. It seemed like he'd completely lost control, but then he saved it. I'm gonna say this was a combination of luck and skill. The drunk driver of a sports car was speeding on a two-lane highway. Suddenly, he crashed into an ETK 800 series, causing both cars to spin out, and then he hit a Bruckle Legrand. All three cars came to a halt, and the drunk driver was so intoxicated he lost consciousness. Oliver was driving his car in Utah. He approached a curve at high speed, flew into the oncoming lane, and crashed into another car. Cal was drifting in FR Legends when he hit a wall, but in a moment of good fortune, he only lost his front bumper cover. The impact didn't affect his drift, and he was able to continue. Gavin's electric sports car was attacked by the driver of a gas car. Do you think this fume sniffer attacked because he hates electric cars? Mason was sitting in his car during his lunch break near a closed road. An ETK driver went flying by and crashed into a retaining wall, then hit the wall of a building. Thankfully, he survived with only minor injuries. A blue VW Golf was speeding down a highway when it approached a narrow road with other traffic. While attempting an evasive maneuver, the driver lost control, flew off the road, and slid into our submitter's car. The police responded and both cars were totaled. Bobby was driving his pickup truck when he was suddenly T-boned by another driver running a stop sign. Police arrived at the scene to clear it up, and the other driver took full responsibility. William was driving a Toyota down the road at high speed. When he approached curves in the road, he lost control and hit a tree. Sadly, his car was totaled. King Julian was racing his friend down a highway when a semi-truck suddenly appeared rolling across the highway. We're not sure what sent the semi spinning in the first place, but Julian did a great job avoiding the truck. Cheese was driving through a tunnel when he heard sirens, so he pulled over. When he checked his mirror, he watched a police car hit another car before crashing into him. Kale was in a rush to deliver hay bales when he lost control and rolled multiple times. He ended up having to replace his truck. Frantic was driving down a highway when another driver merged from the left lane to the exit lane. The car blocked Frantic's path, causing him to rear-end the vehicle. Repairing Frantic's car cost $60,000 and fixing the blue car cost another $5,000. When Luis was almost home, he watched the distracted driver of a Ford Explorer crash into a bridge. The impact wedged the SUV into the bridge, leaving it hanging off the side. His BeamNG security cam captured the collision, including the arrival of first responders. Don't forget to subscribe to Wham Baam Security Cam. Ruben was driving down a highway when he witnessed a crazy Hellcat driver. The vehicle was stolen, and somehow the driver escaped after the crash. Jacob was turning on a sharp curve with his semi-truck. It was a very icy and snowy road, and he was going too fast, which caused him to slide down the hill, roll over multiple times, and hit a tree. Jacob was running late for work when he was T-boned by a semi-truck at a busy intersection. Zonda was towing his Satsuma with his Ricochet when he lost traction, spun out, and landed in the woods. Thankfully, he wasn't injured. MG was sitting in his car when, all of a sudden, he watched a plane fall out of the sky. It slammed into the ground and burst into flames. Martin was drifting his MK4 Supra when he lost control and couldn't get it back. He ended up hitting a pole, causing $60,000 in damage. Tara was cruising down a highway at 85 miles per hour when an SUV pulled out and T-boned her. The impact sent her car flying and rolling over. All her airbags deployed, and she was trapped in the mangled car for almost an hour.